My name is Elena Brooks. I'm 31 years old. 3 Sundays ago, my future mother-in-law placed a glass of iced tea in front of me, smiled like everything was sweet, and said, "Before this wedding happens, there's something you should know about yourself." She already knew. What she didn't know was that I had found out her secret first, and I didn't say a word. Not then, not that day, not for the next 12 days. Because sometimes silence isn't weakness, sometimes it's strategy. Before I take you back, do me a favor. Drop a like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I read every single one. Now, let me take you back 6 years, to the night I met Diane Carter. I was 25. Jason and I had been dating for 5 months. He invited me over to his parents' place. Big suburban house, perfect lawn, the kind of place that looks like nothing bad ever happens there. Diane opened the door. She didn't smile first. She scanned me first. Then she smiled. You know that kind of smile? The one that says, "I've already decided something about you, I'm just waiting to confirm it." Dinner started normal. Roast chicken, polite conversation, Jason's dad making harmless jokes. Then Diane leaned forward slightly. "So, Elena, what does your family do?" I told her. Mom was a school teacher, Dad passed when I was 10. She paused. Not shocked, not sympathetic, just processing. "Oh," she said softly, "that must have shaped you. Not hurt you, not affected you, shaped you. Like I was something that came out of damage." Jason squeezed my hand under the table. He thought she was being kind. She wasn't. That night, on the drive home, Jason said, "She really liked you." I looked out the window and said, "Yeah, I could tell." But here's what stuck with me. Diane didn't ask questions to know you. She asked questions to place you, like a file in a cabinet. And once you were placed, that was it. No moving. Jason and I got engaged 2 years later. He was a good man, solid, loyal, the kind of guy who fixes things without being asked. But Diane didn't fix things. She investigated them. After the engagement, things changed. Not fast, not loud, quiet, calculated. She started showing up unannounced, rearranging my kitchen, commenting on how I folded laundry, correcting how I seasoned food. Small things, but they stacked up, like tiny weights you don't notice until suddenly you can't breathe right. Then came the comments. At first, subtle. "Your features are very distinctive. You don't really look like where you said you're from. Genetics are fascinating, aren't they?" I laughed it off, at first. Then, one night, Jason showed her a childhood photo of me. He leaned closer, studied it. Too long. She said. That sound again. That same noted tone. Something clicked in her mind that night. I didn't know what yet, but I felt it. 6 months before our wedding, things escalated. It started with my blood test. I had gone for a routine checkup, nothing serious. A week later, Diane casually asked, "Did everything come back normal?" I froze. "How did you know I had tests done?" She smiled. "Oh, honey, I pay attention." That's when I knew. She wasn't just observing anymore. She was digging. And then it happened. One afternoon, I came home early from work. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I walked into the kitchen, and Diane was there, standing by the counter, with a small plastic bag in her hand. My hairbrush. She turned slowly. No guilt, no panic, just calm. "I was just cleaning up," she said. I didn't say anything, but inside, something locked into place. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't confront Jason. I didn't call her out. I opened my laptop, and I started searching. because if Diane Carter thought she was the only one who could dig, she was about to be real disappointed. By the third night, I found it. Not about me, about her. And everything changed. See, people like Diane, they don't go looking for truth. They go looking for confirmation, and when they don't find it, they create it. But she made one mistake. She underestimated how far I was willing to go to protect myself. And what I uncovered wasn't just a secret. It was a bomb, one that had been ticking for over 30 years, and she had no idea. I was the one holding the trigger. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was scared, because my brain wouldn't shut off. I kept replaying that moment in the kitchen, Diane standing there holding my hairbrush like it was hers to take, like I was hers to investigate. That was the night something shifted in me. I stopped reacting, and I started preparing. The next morning, I called in sick, not because I couldn't go to work, because I had work to do, real work. I sat at my kitchen table with coffee I didn't drink, laptop open, notebook beside me, and I wrote one question at the top of the page. What is she trying to prove? Because once you understand someone's goal, you understand their moves. Diane wasn't curious. She was building a case against me. But why? I started small. Social media, public records, old posts, tagged photos. Diane Carter didn't post much, but people around her did. Church events, charity dinners, family gatherings, perfect life, perfect image. Too perfect. And perfect always has cracks. You just gotta know where to look. By midday, I noticed something weird. There were almost no photos of Diane before the age of 28. Not a few, almost none. That's not normal. People keep memories, especially people like Diane, people who care about appearances. So I went deeper. Old directories, archived pages, alumni records, and that's when I hit something. A name. Not Diane Carter, Diane Mitchell. Same face, same eyes, different life. My stomach dropped. I leaned back in my chair and just stared at the screen. Why change your last name before marriage? Not after, before. That's not reinvention. That's erasing. I wrote it down. Then I kept going. It took me hours. Dead ends, broken links, old PDFs that barely loaded. But late that night, I found the first real crack. A record from a private clinic. 31 years ago. Hartford. Patient, Diane Mitchell. Procedure, sealed. But under notes, one line. Infant relinquished. I felt it in my chest, like something heavy just dropped inside me. She had a child before Jason, before her perfect life, and she gave that child up. I sat there in silence, not judging, not yet, just understanding. Because that kind of decision, that kind of past, it doesn't disappear. It waits, and it shapes everything. Suddenly, her behavior made sense. The control, the obsession with origins, the need to verify. She wasn't just questioning me, she was running from herself. But I didn't stop there, because instinct told me there was more, and I was right. 2 days later, I found it. I was digging through genealogy forums, yeah, I went that deep, when I saw a familiar face. A man, mid-30s, sharp jaw, same eyes as Jason, same exact eyes. Name, Ryan Hale. Location, Seattle. Bio, adopted, looking for biological family. My heart started racing. No way. No way that's a coincidence. I clicked his profile. There it was, a post from 3 years ago, searching for birth mother, born in Connecticut, 1992. Everything went quiet around me. I didn't move, didn't blink, just stared and did the math. 31 years ago. Diane, Connecticut, adoption. This wasn't a theory anymore. This was real. Jason had a brother he didn't know existed. And Diane, she had buried that truth so deep, she started attacking anything that threatened to expose it, including me. That night, Jason came home late, tired, covered in dust from work. He kissed me, dropped his keys, and said, "Mom called. She wants everyone over Sunday. Big dinner." There it was, the setup. I looked at him. "Everyone?" I asked. "Yeah, whole family." I nodded slowly. Cool. He didn't notice anything. Why would he? He trusted her. He always had. And that's when I realized something. If I told him now, he wouldn't believe me. Not fully. Not the way he needed to. Because people don't break lifelong beliefs overnight. They need to see it, feel it, experience it. So I didn't tell him. Not yet. Instead, I made a decision. I was going to let Diane do exactly what she was planning. Expose me, in front of everyone, with her evidence. Because what she didn't know was that her evidence would expose her instead. The next few days were the hardest, pretending everything was normal, cooking dinner, laughing at stupid TV shows, sitting next to Jason like my entire world wasn't about to flip. At night, I couldn't sleep. I'd lie there staring at the ceiling, thinking about that baby she gave up, thinking about Ryan, thinking about the version of Diane who made that choice, and then the version of her now, destroying someone else's life to protect her past. That's when the anger finally hit. Not loud, not explosive, cold, focused. The kind of anger that doesn't make you scream, it makes you precise. Saturday night, I got confirmation. I didn't reach out to Ryan. That wasn't my place, but I didn't need to. The evidence was already enough. Public records, dates, timelines, everything lined up perfectly. I printed everything, organized it, labeled it. Not messy, not emotional, clean, clear, undeniable. Sunday morning came fast, too fast. I got dressed slowly, simple outfit, nothing dramatic, no armor, just me. Because this wasn't about looking strong, it was about being unshakable. Jason drove, music playing low. He was relaxed, talking about random stuff, completely unaware. I watched him, and for a second I almost told him. Almost. But then I remembered Diane's smile, that look in her eyes, that certainty. And I knew this had to happen the way it was about to happen. We pulled into the driveway, cars already there. Of course, she made sure of that. Full audience, full impact. Classic Diane. As we walked to the door, Jason squeezed my hand. "You okay?" he asked. I smiled. "Yeah," I said. And for the first time all week, I meant it. Because I wasn't walking into a trap. I was walking into a reveal. Diane opened the door. Same smile, same eyes, same confidence. She hugged Jason, looked at me, brief, measured. "Glad you could make it," she said. "Oh," I replied calmly, "I wouldn't miss this." For a split second, something flickered in her expression, something small, but I caught it. Instinct recognizes instinct, and in that moment, she felt it. Not the truth, not yet, but something off, something she couldn't place. We stepped inside. The house felt the same, but it wasn't. because now I knew what was hidden behind the walls, behind the smiles, behind her. And sitting there, on the hallway table, like it had been waiting for its moment, was a sealed envelope. Dinner started like nothing was wrong. That's how people like Diane operate. They build storms and then sit calmly at the table like they didn't just load the sky with thunder. Jason's dad was talking about work. His cousin was laughing too loud. Plates clinked, glasses filled. Normal sounds. Fake normal. Because underneath it, everyone felt it. That tension, that something's about to go down energy. And Diane, she was in control. Or at least, she thought she was. I barely touched my food. Not because I was nervous, because I was focused, watching, timing. Across the table, Diane kept glancing at the hallway, at the envelope. Her envelope, her weapon. She had rehearsed this, I could tell. Her breathing was measured, her posture straight. She wasn't improvising, she was performing. 10 minutes passed, then 20, and finally, she stood up, set her napkin down, smoothed her blouse, and smiled. That same smile, the one that hides intention. "I think," she said lightly, "before dessert, there's something we should talk about." The room went quiet. Forks paused midair. Jason looked up. "Mom?" She walked calmly to the hallway, picked up the envelope, and brought it back to the table. Every eye followed it, like it was something alive. She placed it in front of Jason, then looked at me. Not angry, not emotional, certain. "I think you deserve to know the truth," she said. There it was, her moment, her stage. Jason frowned slightly. "What is this?" Diane placed both hands on the table. "I had a DNA test done." Silence. Heavy. Immediate. Jason blinked. "For who?" She didn't look at him. She looked at me. "For Elena." The word hit the table like a crack in glass. His dad shifted in his seat. "Diane, what are you doing?" She ignored him. "I just needed clarity," she continued, "because some things weren't adding up." Jason's voice dropped. "Mom, what are you implying?" Diane leaned forward slightly. "That maybe the person you're about to marry isn't who she says she is." There it was. Clean, direct, calculated. A couple people at the table exchanged looks. No one spoke, because this wasn't confusion, this was accusation. Jason looked at me, searching, not doubting, just trying to understand, and I held his gaze, calm, steady. "Open it," she said softly. Jason hesitated, then picked up the envelope, broke the seal, pulled out the pages. The sound of those pages? Loud. Too loud. He started reading. First page, second page. His eyebrows tightened. Then he stopped, looked up. "What is this?" Diane straightened. "Proof," she said. Proof. That word. She believed it. Jason looked at me again. "Elena?" And that's when I finally moved. I reached into my bag, slowly, no rush, no panic, and placed my own folder on the table, right next to hers. Neat, organized, heavy. "You should probably read mine, too," I said. The room shifted. Not physically, but you could feel it, like the ground just tilted. Diane's smile flickered, just a little. "What is that?" she asked. I looked at her. Same calm, same control. "Clarity," I said. Jason froze, looked between both folders, then picked mine up, opened it. First page. He scanned it, then the second, then the third, and I watched his face change. confusion, then disbelief, then something deeper, something heavier. He turned slowly and looked at Diane. "Mom," he said quietly, "who is Ryan Hale?" Silence. Not the kind you ignore, the kind that hits your chest. Diane didn't move, didn't blink. "Excuse me?" she said. Jason held up the paper. Ryan Hale, born in Connecticut, adopted, 1992. His voice tightened. "It says here he's my biological brother." The room exploded without sound. Everyone froze. Diane's face drained. "No," she said immediately. "That's not—" "It matches," I said calmly. "Dates, location, records." Jason's dad stood up slowly. "Diane, what is he talking about?" She shook her head. "This is ridiculous." "Is it?" I cut in. Not loud, not aggressive, just precise. "You had a child before Jason. You gave him up, and you never told anyone." Her hands started shaking. "You don't know what you're talking about." "I do," I said, and I slid one final paper forward. Clinic record. Clear. Undeniable. Her name. Her past. Her truth. Jason stared at it, then at her. "You lied?" he whispered. She broke. Not gracefully, not quietly. "I was young," she snapped. "I didn't have a choice." Her voice cracked, real this time. "I was spared. I had no support. My parents—" "For 30 years?" Jason said. That hit harder than anything else. "For 30 years you said nothing?" She looked at him like she was losing something she couldn't grab back. "I was trying to protect this family." "No," he said, and his voice, different, stronger. "You were protecting yourself." Silence. Diane's eyes filled, but no one moved to comfort her, because now everyone saw it, the truth. The same woman who tried to expose me had been hiding the biggest secret in the room. Jason ran a hand through his hair, processing, breathing hard. Then he looked at me, not confused anymore, not uncertain, clear. "You knew?" he asked. I nodded. "About a week. Why didn't you tell me?" "Because this mattered. This answer mattered." "Because you needed to see it," I said softly. "Not hear it from me, not argue about it. See it." He held my gaze, and then slowly, he nodded. He understood. Diane sank into her chair, small, for the first time, small. Her perfect control, gone. Her perfect image, cracked wide open. Jason's dad grabbed his jacket. "I need air," he muttered, and walked out. Others followed, one by one, not dramatic, just done. The room emptied. The stage she built collapsed, and she was the only one left standing in it. Jason picked up both folders, looked at them, then looked at her. "You tried to destroy her," he said quietly. His voice didn't rise, didn't shake, but it hit harder than anything loud could. "And all you did was expose yourself." He turned, walked toward me, took my hand. "Let's go." And just like that, we left. No yelling, no chaos, just truth and silence behind us. In the car, neither of us spoke for a while. Streetlights passed, slow, steady. Finally, he exhaled. "I have a brother," he said. Not shocked, not emotional, just processing reality. I squeezed his hand. "Yeah," I said. "And she almost made you lose everything," he added. I looked out the window. "No," I said quietly. "She just showed us what needed to be seen." He looked at me. Long, different, like he saw me clearly for the first time, not just as someone he loved, but as someone who stood firm when things got real, and that changes things. A week later, he reached out to Ryan. They talked. Long call, then another, and another. Turns out, some truths hurt, but they also connect. Months passed, things settled. Not perfectly, but honestly. Diane tried to reach out, apologize, explain, and eventually we set boundaries, clear ones. Because forgiveness, that's a choice. But trust, that has to be rebuilt, slowly, carefully. And here's the thing I learned from all of this. The people who dig the hardest into your life are usually trying to bury something in their own. And truth, real truth, it doesn't need to be forced. It doesn't need a stage. It doesn't need an audience. It just needs time and the right moment. Because when it comes out, it doesn't just reveal others, it reveals everything. That's the story. If this hit you, if it made you feel something, drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe, and tell me, what would you have done? I'll see you in the next one.